I'm Judah. I've been a gamer all my life. I'm the opposite of you. I kind of stopped after Street Fighter 3 with arcade games, and then I played PC games a lot for a long time, and then kind of got tired of the online element of everything and sort of went back to the arcade games I remembered when I was a kid. And I started Sea Cave Arcade 3 years ago, sort of as just sort of a space that was like an affordable entertainment option for people that didn't involve alcohol necessarily or this party atmosphere. That's one of the first memories of like me gaining respect to the other kids in the neighborhood. Started, you know, was one of my first earliest memories of that was like being better at Street Fighter than a lot of the people at the corner store.
Right.
And Street Fighter was always one of those games where you're not playing against the computer. Right, you're playing against other people,
right.
And winner stays on in the old arcade game.
Right.
You know, like you didn't have to put another quarter in and fight again if you won. You just got to stay on.
Right.
So, if you got good at it, you could go to the arcade and stay on the machine for like $1.50. You know,
right.
Just beating people who are lining up. Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of how I got into it. I find it's part of the reason I started Sea Cave Arcade is I find it very discouraging that like. So much of it is being pushed to the industry online, you know, and I think like a lot of like the problems you're seeing and like a lot of the controversies you're seeing like come from like this toxicity that is allowed to exist because it's a lot of people hiding behind screens, you know, like I've played online. I've had people say really terrible and dumb and mean things to me on a pretty regular basis, not just in like fighting game communities, but like World of Warcraft.
Right.
It was constantly present, you know.
Right.
Heroes of the Storm or MOBA scene, same thing, you know.
Right.
I've been doing CK for over 3 years now. I've never had an incident like that happen inside of the arcade. I've never had to ask somebody to leave for, you know, saying something offensive or demeaning to somebody, you know.
Right.
People don't do that if the person's standing right next to them.
Right.
After doing it as a speakeasy for 2 years, I ended up with, I took on a business partner named Matt. You know, you see pictures of him on the Instagram. From there, we found a place on Burgundy, you know, which allowed us to do 5 days a week, you know, a certain number of hours and stuff. And it really kind of went from being like a speakeasy, you know, once or 2-3 times a month thing to like, you know, we're open 5 days a week. We're a business now, you know, with his help. And then being in that spot across the street from the bar Bud Rips, you know, like we got really visible. And then we lost the lease. You know, and we were looking for a home. And I guess we were well received enough that the woman who owns the property we're moving into now, like, you know, got a hold of us and asked us if, you know, we wanted to do the spot, and we found an investor. And, you know, yeah, we're upgrading. So, you know, and it'll be the same thing. You know, $5 all you can play for the day.
Okay.
$100 for like a year.
Okay. $1,000 for
lifetime.
Lifetime.
Yeah.
$1,000 for a lifetime?
Yeah. You had the corner store, you know,
right.
like 5 or 6 of them in your neighborhood. They all had a Street Fighter cabinet or a Mortal Kombat cabinet or something in it, right? So as a kid, you would save up your quarters and you would go and play Street Fighter. Pennyland.
And she's my older sister, so
I would see people getting street fights over Street Fighter outside Pennyland. Like, you know, yeah, because it's like right there off Canal by Bourbon, you know, in the corner, right?
It's infamous, yeah.
But that was my favorite place. It felt dangerous, you know, right? Yeah. Like you walk in there, it's shady guys, you're like, I'm just trying to like get it, you know.
Yeah.
Because the Magazine Street bus would just dump me off on Canal Street, that like 2 blocks away from the place, right? So at like 16, 17, I could just catch the bus there and walk in and play Street Fighter. You know, and like good players went there.
Right.
You know, if you were a good player in the city and you couldn't make it out to Fun Arcade for a tournament or something, you would just go play there. You know, they didn't do tournaments, but guys would be there any given night. You know.
Stacked event schedule I've seen on.
Yeah. We do Ryu on the Bayou. We do one called Wheel of Death, which is just like a random. Like it's the Wheel of Fortune wheel, you know, and you put all the games that nobody really plays on it, you know, right? And you just, before each matchup, you just spin the wheel, and it's like, all right, Jackie Chan, Fist of Fire, let's go, you know, right? Yeah. So, and then what else do we have? We do Windjammers, you know, which is another arcade game that's it's great to see that one come back, you know, because that's a hidden gem of like it's Street Fighter Pong. It's amazing. And then we do Puzzle Fighter tournaments, you know, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. And then we're going to start a Tecmo League.
Tecmo?
Yeah. So they have these guys, a little weird subset of like retro gaming is they have these guys online who take Tecmo Bowl, Super Tecmo Bowl from Nintendo, and they hack and mod it every year. And they update the rosters and the stats based on like performance in the NFL. Yeah, it's called, you can go tecmobowl.org, you know, and you can download the latest like hacked ROM, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to basically get Tecmo Bowl 2019 when it comes out before football season starts, right? And what it is it's going to be a fantasy football league, but instead of like, you know, collecting stats or whatever, like you actually play your team. Right? I mean, if you had told me 3-4 years ago that this is what I'd be doing, I would have told you you're crazy.